So what do you see the future bringing to Josh Cavalier?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Well, I know that I'm going to be done with this large project probably in about 8 weeks. And so what I'm doing is going ahead and planning on rolling out my own online courses, obviously about video, and going to roll out a YouTube channel. And there's going to be 3 different areas that I'm going to focus in on. Actually, I can just show you here real quick. It's easier with the visual, right? So let me go ahead and select that. There we go. So what I'm going to do, Rick, is go ahead and just focus in on these 3 areas initially. I have all kinds of different ideas, but I'm going to be talking about the planning process. And what started all of this was the acceleration of video content management systems in learning ecosystems, right? And how to properly take advantage of that. And so with the video instruction plan is going to be a discussion around the different phases that someone goes along a learning journey and how the videos need to be different along that, from awareness to pre-training to training to post-training boosts to performance support. Video structures are different for each one of those engagements. And so the video instruction plan talks about that. And then also after you create your videos, what do you do with the analytics? Right? So it's actionable. And what's the difference between somebody just going ahead and pausing a video and going in and pausing a video and taking a note? How do you track that? It's a more salient point. So there's a whole methodology behind that. And so that's one of the things I'm going to get into and talk about as I move forward and put my online classes on. The next is the cognitive psychology of video. I've been spending the last 5 years diving in deep in that area and talking with other individuals in the industry who are also very knowledgeable and kind of putting together these different theories, almost like with like graphic design, there's Gestalt and different rule of thirds and things that just work. And it's the same in educational video, but I don't think there's no one resource to go ahead and get that information. And I want to be that resource. I want to go ahead and put information out there so someone can go through a checklist and say, yeah, when I go ahead and create an educational video, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And Dr. Richard Mayer did a lot of that work, and Clark and a whole bunch of other folks. They started doing that research in multimedia, but they haven't really hit it hard with video. And I think there needs to be some work around what makes a great educational video. So I'm going to talk about that, and then doing a lot of work around video analytics and what's going to work in organizations, or even if you're doing marketing. I mean, let's say you got a YouTube channel, what analytics are going to work there? So what kind of actionable things can we do with video analytics that ties back into a business need? And I think for a lot of folks, there's a lot of metrics that are vanity metrics, or they don't really know how to tie it back into a KPI, right? So that's another area that I'm gonna take a look at. So those are the big 3. And I have a class coming up, selfless plug. It says Camtasia Masterclass, and we're going to be teaching a lot of Camtasia, but those 3 areas are also going to be in the class. So if you come and take the class, you're going to learn how to create a video instruction plan. We're going to go ahead and break out and create individual videos using cognitive psychology. And then also have a whole discussion about video analytics and the value that certain analytics have for improving or modifying a video strategy. And that's coming up January 14th through 16th right here in Charlotte.
Cool. It's funny.
Yeah,
you're one of the first training people I have met in decades who use the word or the initials KPI.
Why are we not talking about
most
this?
Training people
further?
have no idea what a KPI is, a key performance indicator. And so therefore, they don't tie anything back to that KPI, to business
Critical.
needs, that whether you can track and measure whether the training actually improved those key performance indicators. And
That's right.
when you said that, I was going, thank you. Finally, somebody said this. Because you're right, video is great, but how do you measure the emotional impact of video and tie that into something that improves performance and productivity?
Right. And just here's an example. So let's say that there are it's a safety situation, and maybe it's like forklifts, right? So there's forklift incidents, and it's something that can be tracked, especially if it's a high impact factor for a company. Well, let's say that we roll out a whole video-based instruction plan just for addressing that one problem. I mean, what if we can actually go ahead and tie back in the views, not only just the views, but let's say they watch a segment of the video twice, 3 times, 4 times. They watch it 3 times. They take a note at a certain point on the timeline or with a time code. I mean, that's a really salient point. And, it's not that far of a leap to say that the consumption of media, if it's tracked properly, can tie back into behavioral change within an organization. It's got to be set up properly, and it's got to be vetted out. And I think that is where we're headed with the video analytics. Now, organizations need to have a video content management system set up properly to even begin the conversation. And it's very rare for me to see that within corporate America. And a lot of it has to do with the sales and marketing department owning the video content management system, not L&D, not HR.
Right.
And so there's a lot of work that's got to be done for corporations or government agencies or higher ed to get the whole company on one video content management system. And there's a whole bunch of problems that you introduce with that. But I think it's going to be essential for organizations to get at that point, especially when you take it out 5 or 10 years where artificial intelligence is automatically creating video-based content based upon your knowledge gap and your personality and all kinds of other factors. If you don't lay the foundation down, that's never going to happen for any kind of organization.